welcome everybody to another Spotlight video series in our Women in Blockchain, sponsored by the Blockchain Center of Excellence here at the University of Arkansas. I'm Mary Lassity, Walton Professor of Information Systems and Director of the Blockchain Center of Excellence. And today I am thrilled because I have people and visionaries and leaders that I look up to, and we have one of those people with us today, Andrea Tinianow. And Andrea, I first came across your work when you were in this incredible leadership position at the state of Delaware. So I know you have participated so much in this space, but I'd love to start with that story just because it was such
Sure.
early days. And as a lawyer, and I know you're also passionate about communications. So tell us about that initial journey you had into this space and what was your vision for it?
Sure. I'm happy to, Mary. Thank you so much. I'm an attorney, and I had been working actually in-house for 11 years as the number two lawyer for a large global company. And then I had been promoted to a VP position doing business development. And it was during that time that I started doing some work with officials at the state of Delaware. I was traveling with them internationally to give presentations on Delaware corporate law. And sometime after that, a position opened up and they invited me to create a new role within the Secretary of State's office called the Division of Corporate and International Development. And the idea there was to, as a lawyer, see how I could use the laws of Delaware and not use the laws, but leverage some of our assets, our courts, our laws to attract new revenue, create new revenue streams for the state of Delaware. So I was just sort of like this out there in the world, looking what's new, what's innovative. How can the state of Delaware use its assets to create more revenue for the people of Delaware? And it was during that time that I came across blockchain technology. And the more I learned about blockchain technology, the more I thought maybe there's an opportunity for the state to embrace this technology and drive new revenue as a result. And I got a chance, and this was in 2015. At the time, I got a chance to meet a young budding lawyer at the time, who's now a household name in the blockchain industry, called Marco Santori. And he and I bonded instantly, and we talked about different opportunities for the state of Delaware. And in the end, with his input, the state of Delaware launched something called the Delaware Blockchain Initiative. We were the first jurisdiction to look at blockchain technology and recognize it as an opportunity for to be an economic engine. And so it was in 2016 that our governor, Jack Markell, he was in his second term. He agreed with us that blockchain technology could really be a great thing for the state and saw it as an opportunity. And he gave a keynote, and we got him to give the keynote at the Consensus, which at the time, and probably still is, one of the largest blockchain conferences in the world. But we were the ones behind it, and the initiative had several pillars. One of which was to create new legislation within our corporate laws to allow business entities to maintain their records, including their stock ledger, on a blockchain. So the idea was that the shares would be issued right on a blockchain instead of having an individual create a ledger. And that was very different because in the laws at the time, it set forth that an official of the corporation would do that, would make those updates. So if we had a decentralized blockchain, that's a very different way of maintaining a ledger. So this is sort of way back then in 2015. I learned about blockchain. I was really enthralled and in its grip, because I thought the idea that you could have a system that was not run by an individual or an entity that could update records and keep them secure and transparent. I thought that was just remarkable. In fact, I didn't quite believe it. I kept on going. I remember I read a document. There weren't a lot of documents out there, but I remember reading some documents and thinking, is this true? Is this true? And I would check in with people. Can I really believe this? I mean, I remember the day before I went to the governor, and I said to him, because we had a very good relationship, and went to his chief of staff and said, I really want you to get behind this technology. I think it's very important. And I remember having a conversation with a close colleague and advisor, whose name is Michael Marquardt. He's a great guy, and he was an advisor to me. And I said, can I really go ahead and do this? Like, it was just like, can I do this? It was just really being on that limb. Like, I'm going to take the plunge. And he's like, yeah, Andrea, you can do it. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And like I said, it was almost like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, but not quite having a parachute.
What happened to that initiative?
Well, what happened was
it's hard to get a regulation passed.
Yeah, well, you know what? We in Delaware have there's a sitting committee of lawyers who every year they make recommendations to the legislature. And in that particular year, when I reached out to the head of the Corporation Law Council to let them know that we would like to make those changes, they embraced it. They worked hard. They thought it was a good idea. Many of the lawyers actually had clients who were reaching out to them about this. And so they proposed legislation, and it got passed the following year. And then at first, the changes were made to the corporate law, and then to the other business entities. So that all happened, and of course, that led to other jurisdictions moving along as well, and taking up blockchain and passing legislation, most notably Wyoming. And Caitlin Long, who was really the driver in Wyoming, she and I had been working together in Delaware. And what happened was Delaware stalled when the governor that I had been working with, when he left, the new governor came in, and he just didn't pursue this, and he let it lay just sort of
so let's focus on what you did. Let's focus on what was accomplished. For a lay person.
Sure.
What does it mean? What was the regulation that was passed? What did it enable?
Well, it enabled companies that wanted to use blockchain technology. Let's say instead of just having stock shares or shares on a spreadsheet, they could actually issue shares on blockchain. That was really the most remarkable and the most enabling legislation, to give companies the power to do that, to issue shares digitally. Now, of course, there are federal laws and other laws that interact with state law. But for private companies, it really, what it did was it did something even more important than that, Mary. I'm talking about technically what the law did, but it's the effect of the law was it effectively gave the state of Delaware, which is an important state in the corporate space and really globally, it gave its imprimatur on the technology. And I think what it does, it sent waves around the world to let them know that this technology is serious and it's not fleeting, and the state of Delaware believes in it, because if it didn't believe in it, it wouldn't allow its corporations to maintain their stock ledgers, which are pretty important on a blockchain. So it had that effect of letting institutions and regulators and officials around the world know that this is serious technology which has staying power.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Can you describe what you're passionate about in this space today? I know you have your own consulting company.
Well, actually, I joined a company that supports a blockchain called RSK, and I was brought in to lead their legal functions. So that's pretty darn exciting. And what I still remain passionate about the idea that you can have a decentralized technology that gives rise to decentralized services, such as whether it's decentralized finance or other types of services, where peers can interact with each other through the technology without having to go through an intermediary. I think that's the most, it's revolutionary, it's exciting, and it's exciting to be a part of it from a leadership position where you're creating legal structures and advising executives and really managers and everybody on how to, not just what the laws are, because so much of it is developing solutions for how to comply with the laws and how to get done what you need to do in order to realize your objectives. So for me, when I was in-house for 11 years, that's what I loved the most, advising managers and being their partner and helping them achieve, helping them to move around the obstacles and get where they need to go.
That's awesome, Andrea. Thank you so much. We're going to pivot a little bit away from blockchain. So
okay,
because we're here also to inspire young women.
Okay.
And
sure.
So first thing I want to say is I loved your TED Talk.
Oh my goodness, that was a long time ago.
I
Okay,
know,
thank
but
you.
your message, it was so, what I loved about it in this very modern day age where, we're all here building our networks. I thought your message about having the depth and the quality of a network and the
Yes,
quality of a few friends, I thought that message
yes.
really resonates and is timeless. So thank you for that. So what advice do you have for other women who are potentially interested in getting in the tech space in general or in the blockchain space in particular?
Oh, that's great. I think it's important to I think they need to have, like I said, the networking. That's very, very important. But it's not just networking for the sake of networking. It's listening to people's ideas and reading, and but getting to know other folks in the industry. And you do that. I think one way to do that is by joining different organizations where you hear webinars, you hear people speaking, you can participate, and the smaller the group, the better. So for me, I was able to join the Wall Street Blockchain Alliance early on. I'm now part of I joined the Global Business Blockchain Council. I listen to webinars, I read newsletters, but getting to know individuals personally, that's just great, because everyone, you want to be part of a network, a supportive network that helps each other. I believe women tend to help women, not everyone, but especially in this tech space, because there's so many more men in the tech industry. So women try to help each other, especially younger women coming up. So I think you don't want to do it alone. Don't just think you're going to do it alone. And I actually speak to many women who are in different different aspects of their career. I spoke to a lovely young woman who's a PhD and very accomplished, and we were talking about potential career paths. And I told her the same thing: like, you want to have people you can call, you want to have advisors, you want to have exchanges, and you want to find forums where you can learn, not in big settings, but in smaller settings as well.
I love that.
And especially students should see if their professors can make introductions. Sometimes I'm friendly with professors, and they make introductions to me. I make introductions to them. So I think you know a lot of people. I know people. So the idea is and that's really was the heart of my TED Talk, right? The idea that we should all be helping
Yes.
each other and introducing each other, because you're not going to do it by yourself.
So just as a little support for what you just said, I just sent a student resume to Caitlin Long. We have a real rock star that had done an internship at Goldman Sachs, and I thought, oh, this could be a potential good fit for Caitlin's new business, Avanti Bank. So yes, helping each other is so important. So Andrea,
Yeah.
thank you so much for spending some time with us. I'm going to continue to watch you flourish and
Oh,
continue to
you're so
watch your
welcome.
global influence in this space. And I enjoy learning from you today.
Oh, Mary, it's such a pleasure anytime, and I'm happy to speak to any of your students where I can be helpful.
Thank you. That's very generous. Okay. Have a beautiful
Take
day.
care. Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.